Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose, day 2 of 4, and tomorrow is day 3, which is a day off, so actually it's 5 days, not 4 days. I don't know.
Does that mean you pay me for 5 days as well?
Wow, what? I don't pay you technically, Michal pays you.
Okay.
So I'm okay with 5 days, you know what I mean? Yeah. Welcome back anyway, we're having a bit of fun here on the couch as we wait to go into game number 2 of Group A. Just a little recap, Kev, on that first one. Disappointing for Huck, but really, that was kind of what we expected, wasn't it, from Rain? He is just so good right now.
No, unfortunately, that pretty much went exactly how I expected the series to go, and that's really not what I wanted, because I really wanted to see Huck, you know, take a map or really put up a good fight, and then at least come down to a stage in a game where we see relatively even armies, maybe like Rain build up a small advantage. But I was afraid, like backstage, I was talking with Sean about it. I was like, I think it's going to be really quick, and I think it's going to be flawless from Rain, and that's pretty much what it was. He just, like, we often make the joke, you know, in the StarCraft 2, solid is becoming a thing, but he is the definition of solid, man.
Yeah, he absolutely is. #1 ranked player in the world right now in PvP, according to Ligulac, and of any Protoss player, actually, across the world right now, #1 ranked. So he's in deadly good form, and it bodes well for him over the weekend. We're going to move on now to a ZvZ match, which was always going to be a ZvZ match when Scarlet was involved. She's dropped out and then got replaced by True, having gone through the groups yesterday. So we now end up with True versus Snute. Is that a harder game or an easier game for Snute? Because he has beaten him before.
I don't think it's harder. Saying it's easier is also maybe if I really think it's about even. Scarlet is an incredibly good Zerg player, and she's not an easy defeat for anybody, so not for Huck either. But True, he's good, but he didn't look invincible over the last few months. I know he performed very well in one of the DreamHacks, and that's when there started to be quite a bit of hype around him. But after that, it's been a little bit ups and downs. Huck played quite a few ZvZs on DreamHack, and he defeated, it was Impact, I think. I think he defeated Impact Snute defeated Impact to, did I say Scarlet?
Huck.
Oh, well, no. I don't know how. I don't know about Huck's ZvZ, but no, Snute did defeat Impact 2-0, and that was a really important series for Impact, so he definitely tried his heart out. You know, True, Scarlet, they're both incredibly good. I don't think that True is easier or harder. Okay. It's about the same.
All right. If you're watching Scarlet, by the way, get better soon. She's just had her wisdom teeth done, which is horrible, by the way. So good luck with that. And we do miss you at San Jose, unfortunately. But we do get True, which is, you know, he's been a great player. As you mentioned earlier, semi-final at DreamHack earlier on this year at Moscow. He's also had a semi-final in the GSAL as well. So he's shown that, you know, he can do this. And Apollo said that when we watched the bracket, he felt like this guy's a world-class player. He hasn't shown us the full capacity of what he can deliver just yet. Is that a good time for Snute to play him right now?
Yeah, I think it's about as good as it could be for Snute. Snute has played a lot of tournaments recently, so he's definitely in good form as well. True, he's been getting used to traveling a little bit more now, so he's not unfamiliar with this stage anymore. But, you know, it often goes with guys like that. They have a great run. For instance, like, True reminds me a little bit of Patience. Patience also had that one really memorable run. I think it was DreamHack Winter last year, where he defeated just a lot of good players in a row. Eventually, his run ended, but we're like, wow, this is the start of a beautiful career of maybe like one of the biggest Protosses in the year, 1 year from now. And then if you say Patience now, you're like, yeah, Patience is good, but is he like the first Protoss you think of? Like, nah, you think of the Reigns and the Zest. Like, those are the boys you think of, with CJ his hero, you know?
So, or SOS.
Or SOS still, definitely. Parting as well. Like, so, yeah.
And the list goes on and on.
We go on and on. And it's the same for True. Like, yeah, he has showed us that he's capable of great things, but is he going to go all the way, or is he going to be one of these guys that will always be a very difficult... Like, I don't want to undersell him here, because True is still a world-class Zerg player, but he didn't have that one, you know, that big tournament victory yet, or that consistent 2-3 tournaments in a row where it's like, okay, even if he didn't win, he was top 2, top 4, something that Jaedong, for instance, did in 2013. You know, that was extremely cool. So, you know, True, yeah, he's gonna come out guns blazing. He definitely didn't come out here to check out how beautiful California is, and you know, maybe like at the round of 16, round of 8, like, nah, True has his mindset on definitely probably a final appearance, or maybe even winning the entire thing. Is he capable of that? You know, if it's A++ game, then maybe, but is he a top 2 favorite for me? No, not yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, you said beautiful California weather, did you?
Yeah, not today.
Not this week, though.
It's the Europeans, man. We have too many Europeans coming over. You guys are bringing all the bad weather over here. There's a reason why I left.
I smuggled it onto the plane with me when I left London, and Todd did the same in Paris, and we kind of, you know, colluded, and then it became this terrible rain.
With you being British and the amount of rain we had yesterday, I believe, Paul.
Well, we had a lot of rain earlier. He managed to beat Huck. It's a bad pun. But
That was bad. I'm sorry, Paul.
Was it bad?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I'm going to leave right now. Snute, we often build him up. He's often referred to as one of the best foreigners in the world, if not the best foreigner, occasionally, depending on how he's playing and where he's playing. We interviewed him over on ESLgaming.com earlier this month, and he said in that interview that he doesn't really care about it. I mean, it's there, but he's not. We gave him the option. Would you prefer to beat Scarlet if they'd been playing, but not advance, or lose to Scarlet and advance? And of course, he would advance. He doesn't care about the individual matchup, maybe as much as Scarlet perhaps worries or cares about it. Cares is the wrong word, but they strive for that. I think Scarlet probably thinks a bit more about it than Snute does. But isn't that a good mentality to have for the Norwegian?
It is. Like, Snute is just, we often say he's just so nice. Like, Snute is just nice in every form of life. He's nice about everything. He's nice in, you could maybe say that his Swarmo style is not that nice for us sometimes, but other than that, he's just such a nice guy. And, he doesn't want to get into personal rivalries. He doesn't want to build up an image that he is not. Like, what you guys see on camera, that nice little Norwegian guy that's smiling all the time.
That is him.
Snute.
Yeah, that's absolutely
really.
him,
There is nothing else to it. Snute is just a very dedicated StarCraft 2 player who's extremely nice. And no, he doesn't care about these side stories. He doesn't care about these titles that are not there. Snute cares about being the best StarCraft 2 player he can possibly be. And, winning a tournament, that gives him extreme amount of satisfaction. He definitely puts the bar very high for himself. He's not easily satisfied, but he doesn't get into like these rivalries or these side stories. Like, no, it's irrelevant to Snute.
Do you think that sometimes he overthinks the way that he plays and analyzes it a little bit too much, maybe?
Yeah, I think he's very self-conscious about a lot of things that he does. And
he did that fantastic blog, from a personal point of view, to read it as an outsider, to read his blog last year. I remember it vividly, where he was saying how bad he was playing and why he thought he was playing so badly. And for him to have the year he's had, which has been terrific, only just missing out on BlizzCon as well, and just competing on an even kill with a lot of big Korean players. And I think we worked it out, some strange stat, I can't remember exactly, but he'd beaten 17 Korean players
crazy.
In the run of 3 months in the summer. So he's got it, hasn't he? But again, you just think maybe sometimes he overthinks?
Yeah, I do think so. I think there's one word to describe Snute, and it is very level-headed. Like, he's just Snute. Like, really, there's nothing else to it.
Did you say there's one word to describe him? Yeah. He's very level-headed.
Yeah.
That's 3 words, Kev.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, man. I thought maths was good.
You're just trying to get back at me.
It's 1-1 now.
Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted already, Paul. Maybe that's why.
It's because you saw Deadwing, Foxtrot, and Nimbus.
I mean, in ZvZ things can be a little bit different, but actually, well, it's not.
No.
If I look at these 3 maps that are left, I'm a little bit surprised that Snute went for the 2 vetoes that he went for. I think it kind of boils down to something that Todd told us yesterday. If you practice a certain amount of maps, most of the time, whether it's a custom game or you play a ladder, you're going to play on like Overgrowth, King's Young, Merry-Go-Round, and then maybe, occasionally as a Zerg player, you play a couple of that Nimbuses as well. Like Nimbus is a pretty okay map. So I guess it just comes down to like these are the maps they play most. But I think for Snute style and knowing what a great maxed out Zerg player he is, and that sounds maybe really silly, but if it's 200 supply against 200 supply in any given moment in this series, some people might call me crazy, but I would prefer to be on Snute's roach side. I'd prefer to be a Snute roach than a true roach, because I really have so much confidence in Snute, his late game engagements. He's done this so many times. Like, Snute was already like, I mean, all the Zergs make roaches, but Snute is just a true roach king as well. He's done it so many times. Like, I really love Snute's late game in this matchup as well. I think he's very smart about when to take a fight, why does he take a fight, when to max out on roaches and when to get the transition ready, and when to invest in the upgrades, and when to maybe it's better to delay a little bit. So I wouldn't have minded to see a Nimbus in this map pool for Snute, if we're Snute biased, but he was not the one who vetoed it. It was true, so.
Okay, final question for you in terms of the styles and the stylistic way these two play. Are you expecting this to be RVR, or are you expecting some Swarm Host in there, or how do you think this one's going to go down over the 3 maps?
It's a difficult question. I would be lying if I said I'm a true expert on true ZvZ, because I'm not. Like, of course, I've seen it a couple of times. But
you knew everything there was to know about ZvZ.
I really haven't. I haven't casted any games of true in ZvZ, and I haven't seen that many either. Of course, I'm a lot more familiar with Snute ZvZ, even though I don't cast him that much as well. But there are so many tournaments I watch, and whenever Snute is doing well, which is pretty frequently, you always tune in. it is possible that we may see some Swarmos play from Snute if he feels that the early game didn't go in his favor and he feels like he needs to buy time for himself, so he needs to get over it. The current maps that we have, I don't think Merry-Go-Round is a good map for Swarmos. I'd be very surprised if we see Swarmos there. On Overgrowth, it's possible, you know, like if on a certain point Snute feels like, oh man, this is like, I can try to max out on Roaches now, but I'm just a little bit behind in this game. I wouldn't be too surprised, but overall I think this is going to be a Roach festival. But I do think they're going to try to outsmite each other early game as well, but they're both so good that I don't think that the build orders are going to be game-ending early game. Like, I think they're too good for that.
All right, okay. Pretty quickly, what do you think?
Yeah, call me biased, but I think 2-1 Snute.
Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to call you biased, Kev. I think that was exactly the kind of numbers I had in my head as well. Let's find out whether your commentators agree or not. I'm pretty sure they will, as we head into game number 2 of Group A.
All right, Rotterdam predicting a repeat of the previous encounter from these two guys from the Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen. So it's from one mirror matchup to another. We had a PvP before, ZvZ now, Snute versus True. What are you making of this, Sean?
I think Snoot's going to probably win this game, to be honest. True is not in the best of shape recently. He's shown a little bit of weakness in Zerg vs. Zerg. And I remember seeing the Zerg vs. Zerg the last time they played, and Snute just seemed to be the better player and had the better army composition pretty much all the time.
I've got to ask a question, though, in regards to that, which is, do you not think that Snute was in better form in Zerg vs. Zerg then than he is right now?
It's the same.
You think it's the same? He had a bit of a break, and in terms of results, I've seen him be kind of trading wins back and forth with a lot of good European players, whereas True's record recently looks as if it's, you know, trading wins and losses back and forth with a lot of good Korean players. So for me personally, I kind of give True a little bit of an advantage here. But of course, I understand what you're saying in the sense that Snute is still a very, very strong opponent in this matchup.
Yeah, he understands Zerg vs. Zerg a lot better than most people give him credit for. He's very understanding of when to drone, when to attack, what army to build at the right time, and when to go for it. And I think that's going to come through today. Here he is, of course, Snute, playing and making his WCS run for 2015 already. Of course, one win in today's groups will give him 125 points. He needs a win because he is a wildcard invitation into the tournament. And of course, you can't gain points without a victory. And of course, here is True, who's had a pretty decent run. He got top 16 in the last Intel Extreme Masters in Shenzhen. He's had a couple of top 16s outside of that as well. But for me, when I first watched True play in Pro League for Jineo Green Wings, before, of course, him joining Dead Pixels, absolutely magnificent. Stood out above a lot of the other players. Yeah,
he's looked good. He has had those moments of brilliance. But do you feel that going into this one, the little bit of fall-off in results as of late is going to be hurting him here against Snute? I mean, again, you're saying that, you know, this is a matchup that Snute really understands. So the prediction that you're giving of Snute, you're sticking true by this one.
Absolutely, sticking true with it.
All right then, let's get into things. Game number 1 is going to be on merry-go-round, as we have. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner, it's our red Zerg. It is Snute, representing Team Liquid, and one of the only foreigners left in our round of 16. And then down to the south, we have our blue Zerg. It is True, representing Dead Pixels here. One of the only representatives of Dead Pixels across the whole team, really. But overall, he is their star player, one would say.
Yep, he definitely is. Last time these two played, it was aggression every single game. Every single opener was either a 9-pull or something along the lines of this. Very early on pressure. So they've only played once in their history, and it was in the Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen, where Snute did eliminate him to move on to the round of 8 himself, where unfortunately True was kind of beaten up, to be honest, because I really felt, despite True, who actually won the first game of the series back then, Snute seemed the better player overall. He was the one dictating the pace. He was the one that True had to react to and not the other way around, and hopefully he brings that to the table. Last time it was Roach versus Roach. Rotterdam and Nathanius were the casters for it. It was Roach versus Roach, but Snute was a little bit ahead of the curve back then when it came to Zerg versus Zerg. He was playing Roach Baneling. And Roach Baneling beats Roach versus Roach. I mean, when you have that, the Baneling splash damage, so cost efficient, deals incredible amounts of damage. The game has changed. Zerg vs. Zerg has changed since then, so I'm not too sure we'll see that. The way that it's changed, we are seeing a lot more Infestors come into play to stop that Roach Baneling type of play, so it's gone back to a little bit of Roach Infestor. But then you got Roach Hydralisk, which is very good against that. On this map, I think Roach Hydralisk is very good, but we'll see how this is going to shape up. as both players similar until True took the gas before the spawning pool here, so he will get that early Zergling speed.
Not too bad a choice. Kind of establish himself on the map a little bit. But again, you know, as you were saying before, with Snute being ahead of the curve previously with the idea of Roach Baneling, it's not even just the damage that Banelings do. It's also the forcing of repositioning. That if you're in the shoes of the defender, making sure that you're not necessarily taking as much damage. But during all of that, you're losing damage repositioning those roaches as well. So it's a real tricky little thing to deal with. If that something like that comes along. And on a map like Merry-Go-Round, with the size and the openness of the middle just in general, if an engagement goes down in that area and you're caught in a big concave, repositioning oftentimes can mean the end of you.
No players from this group will be eliminated. No players at all today will be eliminated. Remember, just a single game from each player. They'll play the loser game or the winner's game this coming weekend. So True, with the slightly earlier Zergling speed, more than likely will be, of course, is going to be able to make the first couple of moves in this game. We see True, who scouts exactly where he is in the game with the nice scout there with the Overlord. He says, okay, well, I do have that Zergling speed a little bit earlier than you, and likewise, Snute had the very same scout too. So both players know exactly where they are, and you can see that with the fact that they aren't building Zerglings to get any additional information. It is only drones, and they are safe for the next 30, 40 seconds or so as they do further up their upgrades.
And True was happy to pull off gas, whereas Snute was stuck in for quite a while here.
Yeah.
So
Well, True knows that he's the one who started this game with the decision. Like, it's up to him if he be aggressive or not, and Snute must react because True is faster. So if he is aggressive and Snute is slow and takes out a gas, doesn't get the Baling Nest, he could die. So Snute must get the Baling Nest down. He must keep on building gas. But True hasn't stayed true to what he had originally planned and has pulled out a gas, has now decided to take a much heavier economy-focused game, much more heavy on drones, minerals, queens, spine crawler, and you'll see the harvester count really change very shortly.
But why is True keeping around with the 100 gas? What is he really doing with it?
Well, it's not that he's not doing anything with the gas, it's that he's spending all his minerals on drones. It's that he doesn't have 100 minerals to join with the 100 gas currently.
Oh well, it's going to put a little bit of a delay on his speed if he actually wants to deal with something like right now, because he's going to be dealing with speedlings and banelings if they did want to go across there with only the queens and static defense that he really has to his name. Their speed started and then cancels it again.
Changing his plan. He decided to go for it, but he chose a fast layer here. Really, really fast layer. So this can be like a very fast roach speed play. Very popular, very good as well. You actually, once you get roach speed, you can move out very freely, do a lot of damage. Just overall great upgrade. Whereas on the other hand, Snute, not really over making units here. He's built a couple just to feel out his opponent. He's got a Baling Nest, so he is kind of safe anyway. Taking a third, got a Roach Warren and Evolution Chamber down himself. So pretty similar positions here. Just True, like mentioned earlier, with a slightly better economy and infrastructure because of how he kind of change his pattern a little bit.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to just have that layer up and running a little bit quicker than his opponent. Unless he noticed that the third drone was heading over there, I don't think the Overlord was in position to actually spot that. So he may have not seen. It's a little bit debatable at the moment as to whether or not that's going to be the case. But he'll check.
He wouldn't have seen.
Yeah, he'll go and check eventually.
Yeah. He sees a queen there, so he knows. But right now, he's building roaches. He should get roach speed pretty fast here, and then he can maybe challenge this third base.
Yeah.
The longer the game goes, and if Snute is uncontested, this third hatchery really adds production more so than anything else in this game, where he will overwhelm True the longer it goes.
Yeah, and it gets a bit scary in that third location because of just how open it can be over there. Noticeably, it was only one evolution chamber, right, from both players at this point.
Yeah, don't want to build two. You don't want to spend too much money on upgrades because you just get overwhelmed with units.
Yeah, it can be a bit scary, right?
Very similar positions for both players. Snute slightly ahead now, starting to rank out those roaches using that third hatchery.
Link's trying to get in and don't really get a huge amount of information at that natch, other than the fact that it is, again, just what he's really doing on the other side of things. There's 10 more roaches on the way here for True, but likewise, Snute here, if he gets his third base nice and saturated across these three locations, you know, he's going to be able to try and catch up in that roach number as things go on.
All right, well, Overlord's popping. He should be able to build some more roaches. Now, either player droning is very detrimental to their game. Both players kind of similar in the income, not that much different here. But if one player starts to drone and the other continues to build roaches, we are going to have a bit of a situation.
And he's pushing away a lot of these overlords in the middle, which is going to make it a bit harder for him to be spotted, but actually they're going to die off.
So he's got to be careful. He doesn't have roach speed. He's out in the middle of the map with less units. He's trying to punish these queens for being out so far, but he's going to lose all these roaches.
Yeah, taking a lot of free damage already against this, and that is not a good
That's
position.
almost game ending.
Yeah, losing that amount at this point.
He got completely surprised by the fast layer. Didn't expect his opponent to have roach speed like he does, and he's lost, I don't know, 10 roaches difference. This is game over almost.
Yeah, even if it wasn't going to be the case, even if he hadn't moved out, I mean, pushing those overlords away to deny the vision of him actually moving across would have been nice, but these roaches on top of this third base now, how is he supposed to deal with this?
He's lost too many roaches. And it's such an equal game. You lose 10 roaches like that, the game ends. He pushed out, didn't know about this fast roach speed because of the fast layer, expected his opponent to be in a very similar situation. That was not the case. He moved out, true punish, true wins. It's that simple.
Yeah, and even the expression on Snoot's face just before really told the tale. I mean, he realized, well, oh, okay, you had speed. Well, that's basically how the cookie crumbles. GG. Game number 1 goes to True in this best of 3, and Snoot, for the most part, pretty much knows what happened there.
One mistake, and it's over, just like that. And unfortunately, just one little bit of lack of information combined with trying to push this back, push the queens back there.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, if you want to look at it on the flip side of things, you don't necessarily need to look at it as a Snoot mistake, but you could also look at it as bait from True. True can move out very easily saying, well, I invested in that roach speed very early on. I baited you out. I pulled you to where I wanted you to be. I punished you and won the game. So depending on how you want to look at it, was it Snoot's mistake to be out there? Was it True that baited him out there? Either way, True on top of things and very, very smartly closing this one out.
A combination of both in the end. I mean, with Snoot being that far out and didn't even lose the queen during all of it. Good reaction time by True overall, good transfuses, a good movement of his roaches forwards to be able to exploit that position. A really well played out game number 1 there. Very, very simple, very kind of cut down the line there by True.
Do you know what I like is that True has his microphone down.
Oh yeah, he does.
That's kind of funny actually. He's ready to communicate.
Yeah, he's giving orders to those roaches, making sure that they're okay.
It's quite funny that he has it down.
True battle commander.
Maybe he feels more comfortable with it down than up. But looking back to the previous time these met in the Intel Masters Shenzhen, the first stop of the season, True also won the first game. Snoot came back to win 2-1.
Yes, he did. So let's see if they can repeat history or if True will take the 2-0s we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner. It's True, our blue Zerg, representing Dead Pixels. And then, down to the bottom right-hand corner, it's our red Zerg. It is Snute, looking to tie things up in this best of 3 series, representing Team Liquid. And yeah, you're right, he has more than the capability of doing it, that's for sure. I kind of want to go back to what I said at the beginning, which is that I don't think Snoot is as on form as he used to be in Zerg vs. Zerg right now. Again, he had that little bit of an extended break, and he hasn't been doing as well online against some of the European Zergs. So whether or not he's able to tie it up is debatable. True, looked alright in that game. I mean, he pounced on the opportunities that were given to him.
As Rotterdam said, he looked really solid. You know, great builds, great strategy, great bait with the queens. We're going to go down that angle if you want to look at it. Just really, really solid overall. And like I said to Red Eye on the couch multiple times, True is a world-class player. I don't care about his lack of results recently. He's world-class. He has it within him to win a tournament. He's got the ability to do so. And this could be his tournament. That was a great performance. He has looked shaky in the open bracket, but he's qualified through. He's gained those WCS points, so he's already kickstarted his 2015 year. I think he can do very well.
Yeah, I mean, whilst there was a little bit of air of shakiness in that open bracket, he still qualified through in first place in that open bracket, which seeded him directly into this position now where he plays against Snoot. And that was the harder open bracket I would consider. Open bracket number 2 was the harder one. So it was a good showing by True, who now showed us a very, very strong game in game number 1. Game number 2 on King Sage on Station has the potential to just play out exactly the same way. I mean, it's Zerg versus Zerg.
I mean, looking at the 2 openers, it is playing out exactly the same here, and you should see the same overlord pattern as well.
Yeah.
Because you notice with your first overlord, your opponent's gone hat trick first here. You have time to poke in the main base and have a look at your opponent's gas again, and Snoot will be put in the exact same position. Oh, my opponent has the faster gas. Not by much, but just a little bit here. He does have the option to be a little bit faster than I am. You know, and then True can end up switching it up again.
Yeah, as you say, for now those Overlords have spotted the hatchery first, so they're just going to head on in. It's always nice to be able to get that read. You know there's not going to be any queens there to push you back too quickly, which is lovely. And then the other Overlords, of course, going to try and keep an eye on the paths in between the bases, lay themselves out so that they can try and spot if any little movements are going to be coming out from there on out.
Key location for Overlords usually on this map is in between the main and the third. There's like a dead space in the air where the Overlord can poke in and look at the drones on the mineral line of the third base. And you can tell, usually, unless there are tricks played, how many drones and how much he's mining from that. And then you can start to build a plan if you want to drone or try to attack into that. A lot of the times you do see Zerg players transfer drones from a first base or second base to make it look like they're droning, to then launch an attack themselves to catch an opponent off guard. But
yeah,
I think that will be important the longer the game goes. But as you can see, Snute has his Overlord in position in that very place in the main and third. But either way, if you see the two openers, True has gone for Zergling speed this time. Not mining more gas. 8 Zerglings in total.
I really feel like it was a little bit of a mistake in game number 1. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but he had 100 gas before, and he wasn't really going into it.
Well, he didn't go into it because he spent all his minerals on drones. Like, he couldn't afford it despite having 100 gas. He was just waiting.
Oh, well. We have the Baneley Nest on the way here for Snute at the front. In a more defensive position, it denies a little bit of the surface area at that front, and it also provides the Queen a really good spot to actually don't jump into so it doesn't get surrounded.
Well, we're going for a full Zergling flood here from True. He's going to try and run over Snute here. He does have a Baneley Nest on the way.
Oh, and you know what's so cool? Oh, okay. I thought that Snute's Overlord was moving down to that left-hand side to cover a spot where normally Zergs will open up those back rocks and use that as a path to deny any Overlord vision from spotting it on the normal path. But it's not moving as far down as I thought it may do there.
Snute's going to be in trouble. This is very smart here from True. Break the back rocks and then swing around the left-hand side to surprise Snute. Snute has a few Zerglings, but if you remember back to the previous game, he only built 4 and never built more, never built any preemptive Banelings. And I don't even think he'll see this until it's too late. This could be just a very easy win here by True.
Yeah, there's 2 Zerglings. Oh, the 2 Zerglings actually moving up there and
he kind of sees them, and he morphs 2 Banelings immediately and starts his own, but is it too late?
That's a lot of Zerglings he has available to him, just True, as he's going to move up here. And if those Zerglings get on top of those 2 Banelings and just go straight for them, then they may not even finish, which is going to cause him a lot of problems. He needs more Banelings somewhere else, but there's so many Zerglings here that are going to tear everything apart. He gets a Queen, he's going to get the second Queen at the natural as well.
Yeah, he's taken too much damage before he can get Banelings. Snute has just been caught off by a strategy, by this tactic coming from the left-hand side, and this series promised to be a very cool one, a very, very interesting one, but it's been a very one-sided and a very fast one. And True looks fantastic. Really good and solid play from him.
Yeah, strong decision-making overall to be able to just flood forwards, do a lot of damage. He got the natural completely here. Oh, even a really nice separation up of Zerglings, just to have 1 or 2 Zerglings hit that Baneling, and there's not really much left to Snute's name here.
And True just completely changed his style from game 1 to game 2. Played very different in the first game, and then tricked Snute coming into the second one and has made this look very easy.
Very, very well done. Lots of drones very, very low here. There you go. GG, well played. As True is able to advance on 2-0, meaning he moves on to the winner's match to play against Rain at the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose main tournament.
Yeah, very good play there from True. And both players not eliminated, or Snute not eliminated, will still play, of course, this weekend in the SAP Arena. Center, should I say. But overall, very good play from True. Very solid indeed.
And yeah, as you said, Snute now goes on to play against Hook in the lower bracket game in this group. So unfortunately, one of our foreigners, once this group fully develops, will be gone. But you know, Snute still has a chance, as does Hook, to try and advance on from there. At least they get that opportunity to stay alive in it. Yeah,
very fast games today. If you look at it, we've had 2 series, but the games have ended faster than anything else. I think we've had about a total of 20-30 minutes gameplay for, you know, an hour and a half's worth of show here. But I'm sure the rest of the games as we move on to Group B now are going to start to fill up a little bit. The next game on this stage, or on this stream, is going to be First versus Revival, and I expect this to probably go long. Well, I know it will go longer than the last 2.
Yeah, definitely. The mirror matchups provide a little bit of volatility, whereas the games can end pretty fast. But First Revival, yeah, I think that will go a little bit longer. Both of them, I feel, are probably pretty confident in their longer PvZ matchup, so that's going to be a good one. All right, so I think we're done here. That means we can head over to Paul with our winner advancing on to the winner's game. It is True.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. Yes, it's true. Well done. Congratulations on your win. A very straightforward game. Talk us through your approach to this match, because yesterday it seemed like you were not struggling, but you were having a hard time yesterday in every single match. They were all 2-1. But today you've come in and played potentially a better player, and yet one very straightforward 2-0. Why did that happen?
이해하셨어요? 방금? 네. They're evolving, you know.
오늘은 뭔가 어제 적응이 맞춰서 오늘 잘 됐던 것 같아요. 그래서 오늘은 2대0으로 이겼던 것 같아요.
So he says, I guess yesterday was a period for me to adjust with everything, and whether it's settings or just the environment and everything. And today, everything's set, feeling good. That's why I was able to win 2-0. That's why it was pretty straightforward, even though it was Snute. And going into that, I mean, Snute has been known for a really great ZvZ. He's taken down people like Jaedong in the past. Just wondering if that affected your confidence going into this matchup at all, or were you still confident because your settings were great?
일단 이 경기는 스누트 선수와 하는 건데 스누트 선수가 저그전을 좀 잘하는 편인데 그래서 그런 것 때문에 약간 뭐 긴장이나 아니면 그래도 자신감이 넘쳤나요? 아니면 네 그런 게 영향이 있었나요?
스누트 선수가 저거전 정말 잘하는 걸로 알고 있고 전에 한번 지기도 해가지고 그래도 그때 졌던 거 생각하면서 준비 잘 해와서 이겼던 것 같아요.
So he says, yeah, for sure, I know Snute is a great player, and I've actually lost to him in the past. But I think I remembered that loss, and I prepared accordingly, and I was able to just practice a lot for that, and I think that's why, again, I was able to win so easily.
Yeah, we've seen you start to travel the world a bit more in 2014. Before we didn't see you come out of Korea. Explain to us how different it is from playing in Korea and GSL and what have you, compared to when you come out and play at different tournaments around the world.
네. 일단 2014년에서 트루 선수를 엄청 더 이제 자주 보게 됐는데 해외 대회에서 이제 좀 자주 참여하게 됐으니까 그래서 전에 한국에 그냥 있는 거랑 이제 해외 대회 자주 나오는 거랑 그 차이에 대해서 좀 얘기해 주세요.
작년이랑 비교해서요?
이제 해외 대회 많이 나오고.
일단 해외 대회 많이 나오면은 일단 재밌는 것 같아요. 일단 막 비행기도 타고 그런 이제 막 잘 못 가잖아요. 막 원래 제가 비행기를 타본 적이 없었는데 그래가지고 비행기 타는 것도 좋고 외국은 어떻게 사나 이런 거 보는 것도 좋고 외국 사람들도 다 똑같구나 뭐 이런 거 느끼는 것도 좋은 것 같아요. 좋은 경험인 것 같아요.
많이 다른 줄 알았어요?
좀 다를 줄 알았는데 같은 사람이더라고요.
Okay, so first he says, honestly, I've never been on planes before. I started to come out to these foreign tournaments, so that's why I said, oh, and then he laughed. But yeah, he had never been on a plane before, and now he's getting to travel on planes all the time, coming out to these tournaments. And he said because of that, it's very fun having these experiences of being on a plane for the first time, going to these countries for the first time. And he said it's really cool to see these other countries that I've only heard about in person. And this last part cracks me up. He says, and I thought that, people abroad would be so different, but it turns out they're just people like me.
Yeah, we're not that different. We're just less good at StarCraft. That's the only thing that's different. Just in terms of the way that you play stylistically, how do you think your style matches up against Rain in the next round? Because you've got to play Rain when we get to the arena now. Surely you can beat Rain. It's going to be easy, right?
이제 다음 상대는 정윤종 선수인데 이제 본인의 스타일이랑 정윤종 선수의 스타일이랑 어떻게 잘 통할 것 같으세요? 아니면 뭐 자신 있으세요? 있을 것 같으세요?
요새 윤종이가 되게 잘해가지고 또 요새 또 제가 토스전이 좀 흔들리는 것 같아가지고 좀 불안하긴 한데 그래도 열심히 남은 시간 동안 준비한다면은 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
So he says, Rain has been doing so well lately. Add on top of that, I feel like my ZVP has been wavering a bit. So I'm going to be honest, I'm a bit nervous. However, I do have some time to prepare. I've got my match today out of the way. So if I just use this time between now and my match with him, just prepare as efficiently and as hard as I can, then I think I'll be able to do well.
All right, okay. Well, best of luck and congratulations on winning today. We'll see you in San Jose in a couple of days' time. True safely through to the winners bracket game in Group A, and that's it for Group A. For now, we're going to play the first 2 games of each group today, and then we'll move on to their third games in the arena on Saturday morning, which means we move on to Group B next, and it's First versus Revival. It's coming up after the break.